When Mormons or Muslims say that their holy book is the Word of God, they have at least the benefit of deciding for themselves whether or not they trust a single author. When people call the Bible the Word of God, it amazes me how much trust is going into a claim like that. Because to refer to the Bible as the Word of God, you have to implicitly accept A, that every single one of the scores of authors who wrote the various different books of the Bible were all directly, divinely inspired to write the exact words that they wrote. That those men who wrote those words were incapable of making any errors, and that they were completely unbiased by any considerations such as their personal views on religion or their personal views on the society they lived in. You have to trust they had no political agenda, no religious agenda of any kind. Then, as if that wasn't enough, you have to trust the people who compiled the Bible. We're talking again about scores of men who met to decide which books to include in the Bible and which books not to include in the Bible. And it does seem a bit ironic, I think, to suggest that some books which were considered for inclusion in the Bible, which were rejected, were apparently just as divinely inspired as some of the books that made it in. I mean, how can you vote on whether or not something is divinely inspired and therefore should be included in the Bible? If it's divinely inspired, it shouldn't be voted on, right? It should just be in there. So you have to trust that all the scores of men who were compiling the Bible, A, understood that all the different authors were divinely inspired, which ones were and which ones weren't. B, you have to accept that all of those people understood the historical context which the Bible books were written in, as well as the motives being pure. And then we have to accept that all those people compiling the Bible had pure motives as well. That they didn't have any social agenda or religious agenda or political agenda going on. None of their personal views could possibly cloud their judgment. Then you have to trust all of the various different translators of the Bible. And the Bible, of course, the primary languages were, was it Hebrew, uh, Greek, and Aramaic, and possibly some Latin as well. I can't remember. Anyway, the point is, you have to trust that everybody who ever translated the Bible from its original tongues into English, in this case, that's what I speak, you have to trust that every single one of those people, A, understood how to translate the language properly in terms of the words and what they meant, but they had to also understand the historical context in which it was written in order to be able to translate it properly. That's an awful lot of scholarship, and I don't think there's very many people who qualify as experts in that sort of field. And most of those people have long since been dead. So you're trusting scores of authors, you're trusting scores of compilers, and you're trusting hundreds of translators that no one anywhere along the line had any kind of personal, political, religious, or any other kind of ulterior motives to why they did things the way they did them. When the real fact is, people, if you believe the Bible is the Word of God, you believe it's the Word of God because someone that you trust told you so. And then you've sought to justify it with, for example, saying that it speaks to your spirit, or saying that it has prophecies which have all come true, whatever people do to try to justify the claims of the Bible as being the Word of God. Bottom line is, you believe it's the Word of God because you want to, because someone that you trust told you it was real. Let me put it to you this way, if you disagree with that, would you believe the Bible is the Word of God if nobody you trusted ever said so? Think about it. Think in general. This has Got That Funk. Thanks for watching. And remember, good things happen to those who wait, but amazing things happen to people who just fucking go for it.